Welcome back to the channel. My name's Brad, and today we're going to talk about a definition of capital erosion versus NAV erosion versus what you're actually seeing with the NAV. And this is important to understand. This is trying to relay just some information for those experienced options traders. Yes, I know this is going to be a very high level and not 100% all the little fundamentals that go behind it, but I'm trying to give a basic understanding of what is happening so those people that have never sold options can understand. So try not to beat me up too hard in the comments. Experienced options traders, appreciate it. If I have an option, or I have a underlying worth $100, and this is my NAV. We won't go into how many shares you have to have or calls or anything else. It's worth $100. And I sell a call at a higher price. This is called out of the money. And I get paid $6 for doing so. There's some intrinsic value to this call. Time decay, time, whatever you want to call it. Theoretically, it's called theta, but there is some type of time decay. So there's a value assigned for selling this call that you receive. This doesn't have to be a lot of money, but today we're just going to call it $6, and we're going to call this the value of your time for your money. In the first scenario, we closed below our strike. We sold it for 110. We got paid $6. The price is 109. My NAV goes to 109. I receive $6. And this doesn't matter if it's 0 date to expiration, same day, next day, 1 week. They wrote it on Wednesday for Friday. Doesn't matter. This doesn't matter if they sold it for a month out. There's time worth. Now, the farther you sell it out, the more premium you're going to receive because you're taking greater risk and there's more time for it to decay. That's just the basic understanding of the first one. There's going to be 5 at least, by the way. The second one, hey, same underlying. It's worth $100. Sold the same strike at 110. The price shot through my strike. These funds are going to pay me $6 because that's how they're set up. They're paying me those $6. But the options went through my strike. My NAV still becomes $100 because they're going to, you gained 10, it went to 20, they have to settle the difference. And when they settle the difference is where this comes into play. And what you'll see is at the fund level, until they give you a distribution, it went up ever so slightly because they're holding your $6. The next one is, hey, same, $100, sold the strike for 110, it went to 130. They're still going to pay you your $6, but the NAV is now down at 90. Hopefully you're starting to see the play here. This is why it's important how far out of the money that they're writing this, how often, what's the time period, what's the length, and these all are interchangeable because it doesn't matter if it's curve, if it's yield max, if it's Neos, Defiance. These are all how this actually fundamentally plays. Now, if it's inverse, they're doing something slightly different. They're just looking for it what happens if the price goes down instead of up. But fundamentally, for the average person, this is how it's playing out. Scenario number 4. Hey, this is one of those things I call close. They were close on that call. Starts at $100. I sold it for 110. It went to 105. Well, I don't gain full appreciation of 110. I got to subtract that difference. So now my NAV is only 105. But the underlying is 110. But now my NAV is only 105. Because they have to settle the difference between the strike and what the actual price is. Most of these people are using flex, cash settled. So they don't have to sell the underlying. But if they're not, they actually literally have to sell the underlying to do so. That's a whole different subject matter that we're not going to cover today. But in this scenario, basically, you get the $6 and your NAV goes to 105. That's why I call this close, because we still kind of won. At the end of the day, I got $6, but I could have had 115, or I could have had 15 instead of 6. But at the end of the day, if it was 11, right, it would have been really a wash. I'm really getting 6. My NAV only goes to 109. But I think you're getting the point there that there is capital erosion due to having to settle. That's capital erosion. And that affects the NAV. The last scenario is it went under $100. It went to 98. Well, guess what? We keep the 6. But the NAV goes down to 98 because that's where the price is. And that's approximate, because there's charges and costs and everything else that plays into this. And we're not going to go there. We're just giving the basic level of what happens. So that's NAV erosion due to erosion of capital. Why I get so upset is NAV erosion, old school NAV erosion. I'm going to guarantee to pay you 20%. But I only made 10% on your money. But I'm paying you 20%. They're giving you back 10% of your money plus the 10% that they made you. And they're actually going to take fees out of that, and it's going to go down even farther. That is true NAV erosion, because that's the guarantee. That's more of a closed-end fund, some mutual funds, some insurance policies. That's NAV erosion due to I'm guaranteeing you, paying you something. This is all important because in the next few videos I'm going to put out, I'm going to refer back to this and why certain things are happening. And that way you can understand, hey, this is capital erosion happening due to options trading. And am I good with this? I'm personally satisfied more or less with it, because if not, I wouldn't be in this world. I'd be doing SBAL and something like that. I don't know. I'd be doing other things than looking at these funds. The second point of that is due to the compounding effect that I'm seeing, especially with some yield maxes, some curves. I'll throw out curve today. That's going to come up in a future video. These compounding effects that are happening are huge. Now, hopefully, Round Hill is somewhere between yield max and curve, maybe a little more aggressive, a little bit farther, but you can see if they're too aggressive, it affects the NAV. But they're giving the money. But if you're compounding, that actually makes a difference. and you'll see that in the next video. Hopefully this makes sense. Don't beat me up too much on the comments. And if you like this kind of content, please hit the like and subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. Until next time, God bless.